Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley. Woo! Yep, we are here. We are here to learn some life lessons and talk about sports and entertainment and cover the media like the media covers the media now, and they covering everything else. Boy, it is going on. Let's not waste any time because Stephen A. finally, 10 years in the making, he says, had to respond to that fat bastard, as he calls Jason Whitlock. Let's listen to it.
They don't want to touch this subject because he's a bully, and they don't want to deal with the fallout of him constantly coming at them. I don't give a shit. He came to the one. I know what he is. I have the emails. I have the articles. I have everything. I once tried to befriend this dude. I don't talk to him because he betrayed me. As he has others. He's turned his back on Dan Le Batard. He's turned his back on all of those other colleagues that I mentioned. Ask Jamel Hill about him. Ask Dan Le Batard. Ask Chris Broussard. Let me stop naming names. Ask anybody in the industry. I can give you the names of the executives if you want. All of them. At Fox, the executives, upon telling their subordinates that they were bringing Jason Whitlock on board, said, quote, "We'll all band together and stand on the tracks in front of a train to stop it, if that would prevent you from hiring him here." He is despised. He doesn't report anymore, y'all. All he does is make noise by coming after the very people who did and still does what he once did, what he aspires to do, but no longer has the outlet to do because he is considered a vile, despicable human being that no one wants anything to deal with. Got the names. We got Jamel Hill. We got Howard Bryant. You want me to bring up the other writers that wouldn't work for you? Why it took you nearly 2 years to get an article out? Because you ran that shit so bad you were running it into the ground? What a disgrace you were to John Skipper, the former boss of ESPN, or the host of others? You want me to talk about that? Because I got receipts. I got the email. Want me to talk about that? Now, just for everybody that wants to understand, how could this possibly be? Because once upon a time, I actually tried to speak up for this damn cretin. I knew he was a piece of shit. But I said, look, maybe he's misunderstood. Why would I do that, ladies and gentlemen? Because sometimes as black folks, we get in our own way. We think that all of us must be of one monolithic thinking, that we need to be completely and totally aligned. And any deviation from that brings into question our quote-unquote blackness. Martin Luther King was a man of peace. Malcolm X was by any means necessary. They can't possibly be on the same page. Even though their agendas was for the upliftment and the preservation of our race of people. So I understand when we talk about stuff like this, how people can sit up there and say, how did it get to this? How did it get to this? Remember when I got suspended years ago? You know what's out there writing stuff, smiling in my face 1 minute, talking smack about me behind my back, and then ultimately writing it? It was him. Remember when I supposedly people were speculating that he used the N-word on the air and all of this other stuff? He was the first one out there trying to say that I did it. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't do it on the air, in my humble opinion. I'm telling you that. However, it's not like I didn't use the N-word when I was off the air, when I was talking to my fellas, or I was talking to other folks who happen to be black. I am not a proponent of using that word often, nor am I advocating that that word be used now. I'm just acknowledging the guilt that comes associated with me in terms of when I was younger. But I was always saying we as black people communicate how we want to communicate with each other. I love John Wooten, who's been associated with the Fritz Alliance, the Fritz Alliance, Fritz Pollard Alliance. Love that man. Love his contributions to the NFL. But when we would get into it in the past on rare occasions, it wasn't that he wanted the eradication of the N-word, because I support that. My issue with him was, hey, you shouldn't be encouraging the NFL to fine us and penalize us for using it amongst ourselves. How can a race of people who actually made the word iniquitous be in a position to punish us for using the word with one another? I had a problem with that, and I stand by that, but I digress. My point is, in bringing up all of that, Jason Whitlock pounced on it because that's what he does. You see, what he does is he's the one that puts himself in front of white folks. The white folks, not all white folks, not most white folks, but the white folks that dare we say may have a problem with black folks. He says, I'm your man. That's what he does.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Part of me feels real greasy just commenting on these comments from one broadcaster to the other broadcaster. Even when I had my comments about Stephen A. Smith that went viral, I'm not built for that. As Stephen A. Smith said, he's not built to respond to Jason Whitlock. But everyone has a breaking point, right? So as we see Stephen A. talking about Whitlock, we also see the industry getting close to its breaking point, right? We'll talk through that later. All right, so Stephen A. Smith has reached that place where he had to go there on Jason Whitlock. Some of the things that stood out to me were the fact that he put it in his contract not to work with Jason Whitlock. Obviously, I work with Jason Whitlock. Obviously, I call Jason Whitlock a friend. At the same time, I'm not going to take care of anybody, especially my friends, because the truth shall set me free. I know a lot of people that don't like Jason Whitlock, obviously Stephen A. Smith being one of those people, and a list of people that he named. I'm not going to bring them all into this, because if they don't say they don't like Jason Whitlock, I'm not going to say it for them. But Stephen A. Smith did. Not to the tune of putting it in their contract, but I have worked with Jason Whitlock before and seen some of the clips, especially that Chris Broussard clip, where it was just beyond. It just went too far in terms of not allowing somebody else to have a difference of opinion, and then you guys respectfully disagree. That's my biggest gripe with Jason, as I've told him before. We've had heated arguments before. I think that's what you have when you have respect for somebody, friendship with somebody, and also some issues with somebody, right? So I've never heard of anybody putting it in their contract, but at the same time, I know a lot of people who don't want to work with Jason Whitlock. As Stephen A. said, he's a roach of an individual, he said. I'm sorry, God dang, that's a joke. That's funny. Called him a roach. Look, what else he say that stood out? Chris Broussard was interesting. When Chris Broussard doesn't rock with you, which is true, Chris Broussard, pure in spirit, pure in essence, a great dude. That is telling. That is very telling. Talked about him going to a strip club. I think, I don't want to go detail to detail. I want to sum this up because, like I said, I'm feeling greasy right now. He basically said, Jason Whitlock, you're in this position right now because no one wants to work with you. 2, you want to be me. That's why you keep coming after me. I'm going to explain why I think Whitlock really does go after Stephen A. Smith, Deion Sanders like he did. This is my summation. Whitlock has not told me this. I don't talk to Whitlock a ton, but at the same time, this is my best guess knowing Jason Whitlock. He has these standards, expectations that he doesn't even live up to, as you can hear him talking about the Bible, talking about Christianity, and talking about how he comes up short, which we all come up short if you really want to go by that standard. But to the point where his looks like hypocrisy, because at the same time you'll hear him talking about a strip club, you hear him talking about the issues he has with gambling before, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He'll list his issues at the same time, also preach about his standards. When it comes to black people, Jason Whitlock has an expectation, real or not, attainable or not, so high that whenever he sees somebody in prominent success, someone who has that ability to move the masses of black people especially, Jason Whitlock looks at them in a hypercritical way. He does. Hypercritical way, so much that it comes off as hating. Now, I've had several run-ins with Jason Whitlock off the air. We had to go talk it out, and let's just say it didn't end with us talking in good terms to each other. I didn't take that as a necessary evil. I thought it was avoidable, but at the same time, when you are putting yourself out there in broadcasting, this is a very personal thing we do. Not just giving opinions about athletes and sports and just staying distant from it. You are involving you in these conversations. It's going to get contentious, right? But I played football for so many years that I know that's how it works with your teammates. Sometimes you got to get into it. Not all the time. That's why I didn't think it was a necessary evil, but we still had to do it. But I'm going to give Stephen A. some credit here, because what he did was genius. He waited. Then he had enough receipts to talk about all the people that didn't like Jason Whitlock, and there are more. But he also went to the Bible, where Jason is, in terms of being on a conservative show, Christian conservative platform, and he stained our brain. Called him Cain, bars. And that was calculated and genius, because now you're going to watch Jason Whitlock as he professes things about the Bible. He talks about black athletes, black people, and you're going to look at it like, man, this story sounds old, even though I'm hearing something new about it. Calculated, pretty genius right there, because now you're undercutting him. You're taking him and taking his legs away from him in the same way he's trying to build himself up. All the rest of the stuff about Jason not being successful, not being where he was, Jason Whitlock did have an opportunity to go back to Fox. I know that out of the powers that be mouth themselves, trying to get Jason back. Jason walked away from that situation for Jason reasons. I was upset with Jason because he walked away from a situation, me being a co-host with him, without letting me know, even though I was in the know. So I was mad at Jason for a different reason. Like, dog, we over here breaking bread. We over here doing this thing together. I thought we were doing this together, but the way it ended showed me that we were just doing it at the same time, but not necessarily together. You get the difference? You've been in relationships before where you're like, okay, are we in this together, or are we just coexisting around each other, right? So that was my biggest gripe with Jason, was the fact that he left me high and dry in his mind. Not my mind, but still that became reality. You know what y'all seeing right now? Y'all seeing competitiveness. And y'all seeing it like how I saw it in football. So in football, it's weird. You could be as competitive as the best player, but there's obstacles in your way, right? One, your talent got to display that competitiveness, or nobody gonna know how damn competitive you are. Oh, I want it so bad. Yeah, but you're not showing it. The results don't show it. So that was football, right? And then you got to act a certain way in football. You got to act tough, even though it hurts, right? You got to act like you really all into it, even though maybe you didn't prepare that day, right? You ain't running to the ball. You ain't doing all this stuff, but you got to act a certain way. And I remember playing sports, and now this is a lesson for what we're seeing right now. I remember playing sports, and I'm like, damn, this shit don't add up. Like, everything I'm doing doesn't always add up. Well, in broadcasting, what we are now witnessing in this opportunity is that cats are like, nah, everything you do, it adds up, right? Stephen A basically like, dog, look at what you're doing right now, Jason Whitlock. You are talking about me. That's what you are. That ain't adding it up. That's you being subtracted down, reduced down to just talking about me for clicks and likes and views. I don't agree with that sentiment totally, because I watched Jason's show, I watched Stephen A's show, and I think they both talk about people, because you got to do that if you're going to do it in sports media. But Jason talking about Stephen A, what Stephen A doesn't know is the compliment he's getting from Jason. Doesn't feel like that, does it? Jason goes after Deion Sanders. Jason went after Kobe. Jason goes after Stephen A. Jason goes after the people who can move the masses for his people. That is not a justification, but now look at Jason through those lenses, through those eyes, and you start to see it. It was hilarious. It was hilarious to watch Stephen A do that. Now it's going to be gangster because you know this ain't over. It may be over to Stephen A. It may be another 10 years before he responds. But let's just say Whitlock ain't done. He mentioned how people are scared to talk about Whitlock because they think he's a bully. And as you know, Whitlock gonna always come. I don't think people are scared of Whitlock for that reason. I think people don't want to deal with Whitlock because where Whitlock is, they don't want to have to go and mess with that. It ain't Whitlock. It ain't what he going to say about them. It's the fact that what you're going to have to say and put yourself in that position, as Stephen A just said, you got to call your pastor or you got to go out of character, right? Whitlock is the one that's going to find the ketchup bottle when y'all fighting. And he might swing it. You just want to knuckle up. He want to throw them things and anything at you, the kitchen sink included. This was a wild one right here because he went in. He went in. And it's going to be crazy because it ain't over. Because now everybody catching this, right? Shannon, Steven Jackson, everybody saying the Cat Williams spirit. But Stephen A got to respond to Whitlock. Whitlock will respond to Stephen A. I don't want any of this smoke, but I want all the smoke. You know what I mean? I don't do this stuff because I'm trying to really source through all of this so we all get better from it. But they gonna get at it. Whitlock ain't done, y'all. And Stephen A, support, respect, kudos to you for finally getting it off your chest. You shouldn't have to harbor that for 10 years in the first place. Second of all, to be real though, in this game right here, when you get to this level, you got to expect these bullets alive. We can't call out these athletes. We can't call out their behavior. We can't call out people in sports and media and personalities and expect us to all of a sudden be absolved of all ills or not be talked about as well. Ye judge, ye shall be judged. You sitting there with that platform talking about people, they're going to talk about you. The thing about Whitlock is he looking at Stephen A as more than just a sports broadcaster, a guy who can move the masses, who has moved the masses, who will continue to move the masses, that he looking at with a different respect and a different, how can I say it? Obligation, expectation. It's really a salute, bro. It's an admiration. So, hey, y'all keep beefing. I'll keep talking through it. I feel greasy doing it, but hey, that's the life that we got to live because we out there going at other people. Pause. All right. So what y'all think of the full take on Whitlock? What do you think about Stephen A and the fact that he betrayed him? Look, Stephen A, he betrayed me too. So don't trip. Don't trip. What do you think of Whitlock just in general, his character? And do you watch his show? And also, do you call BS on anything that Stephen A said? He really didn't say much. He just said, look, dog, I ain't got to lie about playing basketball in high school. And a lot of people don't like you. I think we all kind of knew that before. We knew you played basketball in high school, and we know a lot of people don't like Jason Whitlock. Since a lot of people don't like Jason Whitlock, doesn't mean I got to hate him. Since I don't like everything about Jason Whitlock, doesn't mean I got to go in on him, right? I'll just pick my lanes of things I don't like, address them, and keep it moving. I ain't waiting 10 years to talk about him either. Same way with Stephen A. I pick the things I don't like and he can do it to me, and then that's it. Do not throw me out with all of the other things, because I respect these brothers as they going to get it. Okay, let's get into this one right now, because the day of the suits are coming to an end, according to Matt Barnes, according to All the Smoke, according to Steven Jackson, because of what Pat McAfee did. They may have spoke too soon, but let's listen to what they said about Pat McAfee.
I love what Pat McAfee did here, because for so long, obviously, with all due respect for ESPN, I had a good run with them. That is the machine. But the days of the suits is coming to an end.
We're very thankful for the ESPN folks for being very hospitable. Now, there are some people actively trying to sabotage us from within ESPN.
Funny.
More specifically, I believe Norby Williamson is the guy.
The new media is going to outweigh the bullshit in the suits.
I had a situation where, where I basically called out, what's the dude's name? They say he always got the stories, man, all the time.
Woj.
Yeah, I was on air with him, and he did some bullshit with Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler called me right there, and I told him online, I said, man, you lying. And that's why I ended up not getting paid. That's why I ended up not working there. Now, I feel him, bro, because they, you don't know what to say. You don't know when you can be yourself these days. If I got to go out being myself, then so be it. I can live with that.
That was my situation with ESPN. I got politicked out over some bullshit that went down. Stephen A. Smith is coming up soon, and there's a lot of talk, sis. If they don't break him bread like they breaking other people bread, he might go independent. Pat McAfee's the biggest thing smoking. Does he really need the machine behind him anymore? So you always got to respect the people that paved the way, but at the same time, this talent, the content is outgrowing the old school bullshit, the old politics, the sneak dissing, the whispering behind your back and shaking your hand and smiling in your face. All that shit is out the window, man. 2024, motherfuckers is coming clean. Good luck.
Okay. Man, what a difference a day makes. Remember they were talking about that? Oh, man, the new media will win over because of the talent, because of the content. And it's going to outweigh the politics of big machine media, right? Or is it? Look, let me say this, because I'm out here in these streets. I've been on both sides, I could tell, like Matt Barnes as well. McAfee one day said Norby Williamson was sabotaging his show. You fast forward, not even a week later, Aaron Rodgers is now off of the show. And Pat McAfee is happy about it, along with others. Now, why is that a reality? The reality is Pat McAfee, as much as he has power, because he had the leverage and power to get that mega deal, came in there, wanted certain things, got certain things, and even he can't get it all, can't have it all. Crazy, right? Like Pat McAfee literally has Aaron Rodgers on, which is a bump to his show, which is a bump to ESPN, and you still can't get that because Aaron Rodgers went rogue, according to whoever's up there saying this is how we want it and you are off track, right? What's happening is no one likes the feeling, and Pat McAfee just felt a little of this, of being under someone's thumb. Like, you ever thumb wrestle with somebody? Like, no one likes the feeling being under someone's thumb. You want to know why? Because that means that person got control, got power, got influence over you to a point where you're like, dog, who the fuck you think you are? Yeah, I'm the one that can sign your check. I'm the one that can take or give you a job and opportunity. I'm the one that you have to answer to. I'm the one that will apply pressure to you to make you make moves you don't necessarily want to make in your heart of hearts. So that's why the independent space is growing like it is. That's why I'm over here, like, dog. For Fox, I don't have a problem with Fox. I love Charlie Dixon, right? Real spit. Here's the thing. I didn't like that the terms were shifting on the opportunity. Simple as that. I got to travel here. I got to do this here. I can do this show, but it's going to look like this. And all of this just comes. It's like almost like, here's your term sheet. I wasn't in that position of power. This is a power struggle. This is a power game. So in the media, if you're talking about ESPN, Fox, they're going to say, this is how we going to do this, right? Unless you got that power. And I didn't have that power. And now it's crazy. You be like, Marcellus, get your game up. Well, say that to Pat McAfee. Get your game up. That's wild to have to say that to Pat McAfee. When he had it the other way, which is where I am, independent space, etc., where Matt Barnes is, And everyone is like, yo, that's the way it's going to be. It's over. They can't keep up with us. In a content perspective, they can't. In a pure way, they can't. But you know what the advantage they have is? They have the mainland of mainstream media, a hub, a portal where Madison Avenue knows where to plug into. And they have that one locked in. Out here, think about it. You got the pivot. Okay, I love the pivot. You got Shannon Sharp and Club Shay Shay. I love Club Shay Shay. You got him, Mace, Cam, and Mace. I love Cam and Mace. Then you also got Nightcap. Oh, I love Nightcap. Oh, you also got, we got All the Smoke. Oh, I love All the Smoke. Oh, we also got Never Shut Up. The point being is like, we are not all pulling together. We are not all under one hub, under one portal. You can say YouTube, but then ask Jay-Z about YouTube. Ask about the numbers that YouTube pays you, which is better than nothing, and it's the best out there. Rumble, if you can get on Rumble and crack that code, you can get that too. But the point is, it still ain't the same as mainstream media. So what we're trying to do on all of these islands and asteroids is trying to garner enough, not only money, and there's money out here, we making money, but enough of us in connectivity to actually go against that. We all on different islands. You just got to go get yours. And that's why, to sum this up, you're seeing everybody go at each other. You're seeing everybody go at each other is because they realize there's opportunities here, but hey, you got to survive and then you got to thrive. So now we are getting primal in how we even covering sports. Oh, we ain't covering sports like that no more. We covering each other who cover sports. We got to do it because that's where the opportunity is. All of this is just a game that is now shifted from mainstream, got you coming here, candy coated, fluffy, glossy, do it this way, to now do it this way. Hey, y'all on your own, go get it. Whitlock, Stephen A, Marcellus. You get it? So that's what's happening right here. And I heard what Matt Barnes and them were talking about. I was like, you're right, but we just got proven wrong like that in a couple of days. Pat McAfee, say what he wants. He probably didn't want Aaron Rodgers on there anymore. But the point is, it wasn't his full decision to make. That's the point. So what do y'all think, man? The days of the suits coming to an end? I don't think so. I see the suits are sitting out there. Look, they know that there's more content out there. They're trying to bundle it. That's why everyone has a hybrid. That's why every network is having their digital department amplified, because they want to make sure that they can have the control over here as well. However, there's some powerful creatures over here who are going for broke, and they can't plug into that. And Madison Avenue is starting to figure out ways to do it. But remember, all those podcasts that I mentioned, how many of them on the same network, under the same hub? 1, 2. That's the problem right there. So I'm not saying we got to come together, but I'm saying while we are fractured like we are, there will be opportunities lost. And you will also see people get real primal in trying to seize those fewer they see opportunities. But I think the sky's the limit for independent. We just got to get there. But we ain't going to get there together, because that's not what independence means, right? So what do y'all think of that whole situation? What Stacks was saying too as well. Isn't it crazy? Like, he had to call his boy, or his boy called him, and then he was like, yo, he up there lying about me. And that's how the game goes. So mainstream or independent? Which one y'all like? Tell me. Beat it up in the comments. But let's talk about this in totality. Why there's so many beefs. Why there's so many issues. Let's just talk through that and get up out of here. I'll tell you why there's so many beefs. I'll tell you why Cat Williams had to go light up everybody. I'll tell you why Jason Whitlock always going at Stephen A. and then Stephen A. going at him. I'll tell you why Steven Jackson's always in. I'll tell you why Kwame Brown go at Stephen A. so much. It's because that survival spirit that we all have, that athletic spirit, whether you are an athlete or you just around these athletes, everyone sees the ball on the ground right now. Y'all watch football. When you see that ball on the ground, there's nothing more vicious than everybody trying to get that ball. That bag is what I'm talking about. That ball is that bag, that opportunity. Wait a minute, I can capture this. Wait a minute, we can get some of the audience from ESPN and Fox. Wait a minute, some of the people that used to work at ESPN and Fox are now doing it in an independent space, so we can now convert that and bring that energy and bring that level of professionalism, expertise, and market that. Wait a minute, that ball's on the ground, that bag is on the ground, and cats are grabbing it, right? Over at Brinks TV, we're grabbing it. Cam and Mace over there grabbing it, right? They got their deals. And you see it everywhere. FanDuel, DraftKings, BetUS, etc. So what's happening now is everyone's coming off, and I know I'm guilty as well. When I talked about Stephen A, I ain't feel good about it. I wasn't stepping up for Max. I was like, dog, is this the game we playing? I ain't like that. I ain't like my videos like that. I ain't wait 10 years like he did on Whitlock, and I ain't go at him like he did Whitlock. I went at him by saying, and this is one thing Stephen A is hypocritical about, saying how he didn't talk about his colleagues. You did talk about Max Kellerman, right? But I ain't do that to step up for Max. I did it because that's the way it should be. Like, I am totally fine with somebody coming at me. Just know two things. One, I'm not going to really take it to heart. Not really. Unless I really like you. But two, I'm coming back. But no hate, but just I'm coming back. I'm not going to ever come at somebody sideways. But I'm coming back. Because there are two different volume buttons. And we all got to understand this. Because this is how you handle haters. This is how you deal with it all. It's two volume buttons. One that's internal and one that's external. Right now, because of social media, because of all these clips, because of all these shows, the external volume button is loud. Tell you something about me. My internal one is louder. I don't trip. I don't hang. I don't do all that stuff. I don't care. I'll come on here, talk to you guys. You guys give me your comments. You beat me up. You guys love, whatever it may be. We'll go through this process together. Somebody want to chime in on this experience? We here for it. But it got sideways, man. It got sideways out there. And that's why all these people are now coming at each other. Because for so long, everybody was chasing the mainstream bag and, as Stephen A was doing, sitting on rocks, holding their tongue, biting their tongue, out of respect, out of professionalism. Cats wasn't doing it like that. I had arguments with Whitlock on air, let alone off air. You know what I'm saying? I tell when I had arguments on air, let alone off air. You name it. Max Kellerman and he almost wanted to hit me one day because I didn't harbor any of that. But now, see, I'm not saying my way is better. I'm just saying that's the way I was raised. That's the way I'm going to do it. Everybody is going to talk to me straight up. Or I'm going to see you and I'm going to ask you, are we good? That's what I did with Ryan Clark. I ain't go up to Ryan Clark to fight because I don't fight. I went up to Ryan Clark like, I hear you. I've read some of your tweets about me, all that, etc. What's up, man? Oh, no? Okay. Won't do that again. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just behind a keyboard. I just wanted to make sure that, hey, you are doing your thing, dog. And I disagree with some of the stuff you say. But you come at me like this, I'm right here. Let's hear it. Not let's show it. I ain't fighting you, boy. I ain't fighting nobody. First of all, I ain't fighting nobody. Swing, duck. Why are you swinging? That's all I got for you, bro. Seriously, I just don't do it. But in terms of setting the tone, setting the spirit right of how we supposed to get down, I'll do that all day. And what I'm witnessing right now is finally people catching up. Oh, welcome to the party, y'all. Yo, now you want to correct them, huh? You've been sitting on them rocks for so long, got tired of it. And then let me tell you what's happening next. After we get through the phase of the gremlins, so everybody gonna get everything off their chest, right? In independent space, and I'm gonna talk about that, I'm gonna talk about that. You know what's gonna happen next? They're gonna realize, oh my God, we are no longer talking sports like that. We are now the football player. We are now the competitor who sits there and feels all of the issues trying to ball, pain, how hard it is, how good the opponents are. Yep. And then everybody is going to know exactly what this is about. Wasn't about no damn sports. Wasn't about no damn Patriots going to beat the Jets. So what? Stop playing. You ain't that damn emphatic about that. You know what you're emphatic about? You. And now we just gonna have naked truths out here. You're gonna start seeing everybody's naked truth, and everybody's gonna have more intimate conversations with the audience, and the audience is gonna demand that. That's why y'all get mad when all the smoke or Steven Jackson says, I wouldn't let him say all that, protect the relationships. You're like, what? Because we got to course correct this world. We got to course correct because everybody in the spirit of being altruistic and trying to make sure everybody is respected and included and everybody is feeling good, we done forgot there's levels to this. We done forgot there's levels to this, just like the sports we're talking about, allegedly. We were talking about. It's going to be each other now that we talk about. So welcome to 2024, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm not a hater. I just tell the truth too early. And I've been telling y'all this. And that's why I did this show just like this and talked about everybody else, because I was like, watch it. Look at them. Never shut up. Now they starting to talk and they ain't going to shut up. That's the game. So y'all look out for all this and tell me if y'all even like this. I can't lie. This beat's talking about the Jets and Patriots. I always use that example. Cowboys talk. Like, I mean, anytime we're going to talk about the Cowboys, just talk about them when they win, talk about when they lose. But you know what's going to happen now? Storyline is about the people, the individuals. We're going to be at it. So tell me what y'all think about this new media. Tell me what y'all think about everybody, how they dealing with these haters and all this beef. Y'all for it? It seems, look, by the numbers, y'all are for it. Stop it. Cat Williams has the second most viewed interview ever. So stop. I don't really want to hear y'all answers unless y'all tell them the truth. But are there any critiques you will offer to me, to anybody else out there who's going to be in this space? Because this space is going to be less and less about, oh my God, Super Bowl champion, go Michigan, national champion, and more about, ooh, they were cheating. Ooh, Harbaugh going where? You see it? That's where the game's going. So coming up next on Never Shut Up, after y'all beat that up in the comments, we are going to funk up some comments and hit you with a Wileyism. Get up out of here. That's next on Never Shut Up, Brinks TV and Reach TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley. Just trying to stay out of these broadcaster beefs. That's all I'm trying to do. Stay high and stay above the fray, man, over here on Brinks TV. You guys make sure you go and log on to Brinks TV and get you 1,000 Brinks bucks. $1,000 worth of Brinks bucks? Yes. We hook you up and you get some merch, you get some discounts, etc. We actually pay you guys to watch TV over there, Brinks TV. So check it out. And also check out WileyWins.com, because that's where I am betting against you guys and winning against you guys, because you guys can't beat me in gambling, can you? Probably. But you can't beat me in guessing who's going to win these games. And I already got my picks in, so make sure you go to WileyWins.com and get yours in as well. And ProjectTransition.org, you go there. Look at these books. I will send you this book if you leave a recurring donation. If not, just leave your email. And we got a watch party this Saturday, Caesar's Palace. You got to go check my socials and make sure you go to ProjectTransition.org for all the details. Love to see you guys hang out at that watch party. All right, y'all. It is time for us to funk up some comments. And funk up some comments, yeah. We were talking about Stephen and Matt yesterday. Great discussion, Marcellus Wiley. Thank you. However, if Stack not careful, he'll be let go. Wow, really? Why? Honestly, it's hard to listen to Stack because he can't articulate like a Shannon. Stack is riding Matt Barnes' coattail. Matt speaks really well and can get his point across with no issues or hate. Nothing wrong with having a slang accent, but I question if Steven Jackson can read. Damn, you went there. Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, I think they got a combo. You know, like, People think that since it's two people there, it's 50-50. It ain't 50-50. It's never been a 50-50 situation when I had a co-host. You know, it's a 70-30 on this topic, or 70-30 this whole show, or 70-30 when we talk about certain things. You know, whatever it may be, that percentage. Even a relationship, y'all ain't 50-50. Come on, man, stop playing. So I don't think that Steven Jackson need to watch on. Don't say comments like this, because Kwame took something away from the show when Kwame was like, dog, why y'all clowning on me? Now I'm gonna clown back on y'all, and y'all ain't gonna keep coming clowning back. That got out of hand, and that was a victory for Kwame. The other thing is, do not say you taking care of people for relationships. That is a bad PR move. I'm certain that Matt was like, hey, bro, we don't need. You can say what you want, long as it's in the spirit and brand of All the Smoke, but keep that one to yourself. As a fan of All the Smoke, Steven Jackson is cool, but Matt Barnes carries that show as far as the interviewer skills, though. Jack just sits there and gives good commentary when it's time, but as far as interviewing, he needs a lot of improvement. Damn, y'all don't like. He say one thing about Shannon Sharpe. You talk about Unc, and it's a problem. Man, do I need to talk about Unc to see if y'all still like me? What's going on? Wiley was correct when he originally responded to Jackson's comments by pointing out that Sharpe was being a good interviewer by letting Cat talk. I don't understand why people are struggling with that. Nobody come on your show to hear you more. They want to hear what I come on your show so I can get it off. I'm not here to hear you because you always here. I'm not. So can I talk? So that was easy for me. I like this version of Sharpe. Steven Jackson always seems bitter. I like him, but he can be too much. I'm old school, though, keeping it real. He got his Chucks on still. Shannon Sharpe seems to drop amazing life advice once a week. I thought it was once a day. Shannon deep with it, man. His grandma, I guess, he gives a lot of credit to. Woo, sick. Zion. Nowadays, people don't think for themselves. They just go with whatever the media or trend tells them. You can look at Zion's skeleton structure and see that he can't lose that much more weight. Thank you. Barkley, on the other hand, didn't have the bones Zion does, so he was able to lose more weight. Barkley said years ago that Zion has a lot of muscle compared to fat, so he doesn't see how he's going to lose much more weight. But now he decided to go on brand and just say whatever is popular. Yeah. Shaq led that charge, but Barkley chimed in, was like, look, I lost 50 pounds. He's going to have to lose some weight. I don't see that as going with what's popular. He does need to lose some weight, but I don't think that number is anywhere near what they're advertising or what people think. It's being exaggerated how out of shape he is. Have y'all played basketball? Come on. Like, stop playing. Leave Zion alone. Everybody's body is different. Everyone's journey is different. Leave the man be. He's most likely his toughest critic. Yeah, and he's still balling out of control, too. Setting NBA records. Like, he'll get it. He'll get it all. Interview. Why aren't you doing interviews? Someone wants to know why am I not doing interviews. That's a great question. I've done interviews. I am not against interviews at this phase of this show, at this phase of what I am in terms of life. Like if I were doing the Cat Williams interview, I love to consume it, but I don't love to produce it, right? Like I don't get anything out of that. Because one, you just saw it. Shannon Sharpe literally got criticized for having the most epic interview, part one. Two, you got Steven Jackson who's criticizing them and saying, you know what, I wouldn't let him go there. So then it's like, I only want interviews like Cat Williams, not him, but it. Like, don't come on my show and it's like, I know, that's what it is. I know you lying. I know you ain't really going there. It's like, it's just a big waste of time. But I'm used to all those ESPN Fox interviews. Maybe I need to give it another go on the independent space, especially after Cat Williams. Now people are like, you know, do you like Michael Jordan or LeBron? Oh, you know, both are great. Fool, I asked you which one, homie. You know what I mean? I don't stay in the lines well enough. I would literally be like, dog, I asked you which one. You know, that's what my son, you know, mommy or daddy, both of you guys. Oh, stop it. Boy, you know you love me more. Let me stop. So I don't do interviews just because I ain't with the fake time. I ain't with the mandatory time wasting. If I start seeing real cats out there doing real stuff, more Cat Williams spirit, I'm with that. Y'all, I know y'all love interviews. God dang, everybody got an interview show. Shoo. But hey, I'm out here for y'all one-on-one. All right, y'all, you know, we finish every show. We finish with a Wileyism. Yeah, man. Stephen A. had me long-winded today because that was so much fire. I meet no one but myself. Yeah, man. Did y'all ever think like that? People say that. There's great philosophy about everything that is in your world is really just versions of you. I do know that when it comes to emotions, especially anger, that you are triggered by things you are, right? Like the things you even take notice of, the things that you even thinking about, the things you run into, the things you think are coincidental or accidental, the things that you actually have in your scope are really just displays of you outwardly, right? That's why, I catch my wife sometimes. She's like, those are nice shoes. Why? Because she likes shoes, right? I don't even be noticing people's shoes. Because I don't care about shoes. I look a mess on purpose. I'm like, just let me qualify to get in somewhere. I ain't got the new Retro 4 Cosmo editions. Like, I don't do that, right? If Nike didn't send it to me when I was playing or right now, then it ain't on my feet. I ain't going to Foot Locker. You got a 14 in those Nike 4 Air Jordan Retro Cosmos? I just not me. But that's not what I see. So I don't see it. But when you are it, stop tripping on what you keep seeing. You need to start working on who you are, because that's all that's being displayed. Oh, good. No, God, I'm going to end like that, y'all. That's all I got to say to y'all. That out there that you trying to, go up in here, get a hammer, and start nailing some stuff down, because it's rattling out there. Everything you see on that outside is already in here. So I know for me, my vulnerability is I always see I see impact. Like the thing that I want the most is impact. Really, for real. Like success, popularity, power, whatever. To me, those are like versions of what I really want. And it's not even legacy, it's impact. I just want kids and people to come across me, my content, whatever, and get better. And if they get better, they ain't even gotta tell me. I feel that impact. That's it. That's all it's about. So, trust me, when I'm out, I'm not looking at retros. I'm looking like, how can I help you? Because I meet no one but myself. That'll do it for today's episode of Never Shut Up. Bye-bye. Who gonna beef today? Dog, this is just the beginning. Trust me. I guess I was an early adopter. I got here early. I knew it. I told y'all it's gonna happen. So let's get it in, man. All y'all have an amazing day. I know I will. Back.
Days a lot faster. Oh, I'm so honored. I'm so inspired to be here, and thanks Shine Global for this award, to be recognized for doing the right thing, to be recognized for doing good things, and trying to inspire others for their own greatness. I'm just a kid from Compton who, at an early age, had to look inside to find my opportunities, because on the outside, there were so many whispers and sometimes yells of I couldn't make my dreams a reality. And thought that was very unfortunate, but I was thankful that I never internalized that chorus that was around me. I was a kid that understood that you had to be greater than your greatest excuse. And I had a lot of excuses. I had a lot of reasons to have self-doubt. But I was able to develop my inner power, discover that inner power, and make sure that I showed the world exactly who I wanted to be. And it was really simple for me. It was to make my dreams a reality. There was nothing more to it. And as I now stand here, just a few miles from where I grew up, where that adversity still is strong, and as we see through these movies, that it's worldwide, not just in our locale. You see the suffering, you see the gangs, you see the drugs, you see the poverty. And there's always one common escape. It's that inner power, it's that ambition. It's having a voice that's louder than those surrounding voices. And I'm on a mission, a global mission, to make sure that inner power inspires all to not only give, but to receive the blessings that come from giving. And I'm up here right now as a guy who's challenging everyone to give their 3 T's. That's time, that's talent, and that's treasure. Human capital, financial, whatever it may be. Let's invest in each other because we all have to coexist here together. And as I look around and I have a foundation that really inspires these kids to become their greatest version of themselves and to look in the mirror to make sure that they're greater than their greatest excuse. It gives me my greatest passion. I was a kid who wanted to be a school teacher, but because of my height, weight, and speed, I became a football player. So I took that helicopter ride up as high as I could, but as I was ascending, I never forgot that I was once one of those fork-in-the-road kids who was shot at many times, who had to navigate around adversity every single day, who had to waste so much of his brain power just trying to get home every day. And so many experiences that sometimes you become desensitized to. But in reality, that is someone else's reality. So I'm so thankful to stand in front of all of you guys as an example of the kids that we're trying to affect, the underserved, the underprivileged, those who are told that their hardships are greater than who they are. But hopefully we can inspire them all to look inward, because everything they want out there is already in here. Appreciate you guys.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right. Get a 125% sign-up bonus, and to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we're giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.